Who's your guys' celebrity pass? Like, have you had this conversation with your
Olivia Culpo.
Olivia Culpo's not. Yeah, isn't she with Christian McCaffrey?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they're engaged.
Olivia Culpo's really hot.
The only reason she's engaged with Christian McCaffrey is because she hasn't seen me play. That's not a laughing matter.
Your ass in a 3-fingered stance. It didn't do it for her.
Ikram understands it's Aubrey Plaza for me.
Oh, because she's dirty. That's why you like her.
Yeah.
Like all her roles have been like, fucking older man.
If I could go like 90s Jennifer Love Hewitt, or like Forgetting Sarah Marshall, Kristen Bell.
Well, if we're going specific, then I want anger management Adam Sandler.
Not Jack Nicholson.
I want shining
Not
Jack
Jack Nicholson. All right. Not Jack Nicholson.
I want 1972 John Hamm.
This is Chris Hansen.
This is TJ Hushmanzada.
Chad doing Rip City Radio here.
This is Jamie Hudson.
And I need to let y'all know something. You're listening to.
You're listening to.
It just makes sense.
This just makes sense.
It just makes sense.
Woo! Way better than Chris Hansen.
Yeah, seriously. I want to get involved in the rigging of Fat Bear Week.
In relationship to Fallout Boy.
Oh, Fallout Boy. People are.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
we got it.
Cut that.
Like, someone should hire you to be a protester. 4 bills dead weight. They're not getting you off that court.
They look at me and I'm like, I fucking dare you.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
dare you.
I mean,
There's no
like,
tractor. There's nothing that can.
They gotta be forklift certified.
Oh, I can't be a Cowboys fan because of this moral high ground that you are on. Bite me. Eat me.
Bite me. Eat me. I mean, gosh.
I'm so sorry to everyone that we just did that to.
Everything I just said before that, I just made that shit up.
Small enough and dumb enough.
Small enough, dumb enough. That's what we want.
That is It Just Makes Sense. Come on. We're gonna need. You guys gotta make this edit easy for me here.
Not with
Peter's got a job.
I think whenever we have, this is the 4th or 5th time we have Jordan. Whenever Jordan's on the episode, it's gonna be a hard edit.
It's a hard edit.
Yeah, because he will derail you.
I can't get canceled. You can't get canceled. This is for all of us. This is for all of our sakes.
Afford to be canceled.
Yeah, you guys went to Mexico together. You, sir, got up with the sunrise. You were getting up at like 4 o'clock in the morning and just getting toasted.
I was getting sunblasted in the face every morning.
Sleeping in the hammock and waiting for the fishermen to walk up to our door.
Sunrises are really nice on a
vacation.
vacation.
We were also east facing, and it was illuminated. And there's a lot of light coming in the house, and it blasted me. We had fish delivered straight to our front door.
Delivery fish, huh?
Yeah,
dude.
Eduardo
that shrimp was bomb.
It's pretty good. Too bad it was on like the second to last day. We would have got a lot more.
I hear that you got suckered into some really expensive margaritas.
Yeah, we just came out of a massage, and we had been to this place and wanted a non-frozen margarita. We wanted it on the rocks, and I was like, I just want a good margarita on the rocks, like Cadillac margarita. He's like, I got you, the special. I was like, okay, give us the special. And then the bill comes out, and it ended up being like $75 for 4 special Mexican margaritas. Yeah.
He didn't even let you order. He's like,
he did
not
show us the menu. And then Miguel heard the news and went back and was like, what the fuck? And the guy's like, it's on the menu. And
you're like,
he felt the wrath of Miguel.
And you just didn't want the problems, huh? You were Jordan no problems.
I was Jordy no probs.
Jordan no problems.
I mean, it's hard to get yourself up
to
want to be confrontational after the most relaxing massage in the world. But I had to go up to the guy, just be like, dude, what the fuck? Why would you take advantage of us? And he's like, look, it has Grand Marnier and Don Julio and all this shit. I'm like, $18 though?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, look at the menu. And then I just kept going, sucio, which means dirty. I was like, you did us dirty.
It was dirty. It was not cool. But, hey, got. It's all good. It's vacay. I had the money to spend. If he needs it, he needs it. I let it go.
So Jordan No Problems could possibly be related to Donnie No Problems. Donnie No Problems left the most unhinged, craziest Craigslist voicemail in regards to a piano. So I picked up a piano about 5-6 months ago this past summer, and it was very difficult. I moved it with my brother, and we had to take it down like 8 steps. It was the worst. Either way, Donnie No Problems is the one who has responded to this Craigslist ad for a free piano.
A voicemail?
A voicemail. He calls this person, and here is this unhinged voicemail
Oh.
from Donnie No Problems.
Hey, what's going on, Craigslist? I saw that you had the piano with no keys on there, and I saw that it's free, and I wonder if I could come pick that up. All right, and I'm not going to need no help. I'm going to come pick it up myself. All right, so just don't even be in the area when I come by. But call me back. But I deadlift 550.
Easy.
All right. And I'm going by to kid it, and I no problem. And another thing about me, no problems. That's Donnie No Problems. That's what they call me. Anyways, and I can play piano too. I'm just going to be practicing. You know, like ghost. What do they call that? Ghost. When you fight, but you're not fighting.
Shadow
What do they
boxing?
call that?
Yeah.
Shadow boxing.
Yeah.
I'm just shadow piano playing with no keys.
With no keys.
But it's still good practice. I got a match coming up. I'm doing dueling pianos. I got to practice so I can take this guy down. He's a normal guy. I need this piano for normal reasons. Other than the dueling pianos thing, I'm non-violent. Except for that. So just let me know what I could do to get this piano off your property forever. All right, and thank you, and Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. And I'm gonna be honest, I need this to kill a guy, Looney Tunes style. I really can't lie to you anymore.
Looney Tunes
All right.
style.
I'm gonna drop it from a building, from the floor tree. I'm gonna go to floor tree. I'm gonna drop it down on him.
Tree.
All right, and is this line recorded? His teeth will replace the missing keys, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean? Because he's going to be knocked out. You know what I mean? And I know guys. I'm connected. All right? I know Eric Adams. And little Trappy Trap. You know how that goes. All right? And I'm not messing around. Please call me back. All right? I need this piano stat. I've been dreaming about this, a piano with no keys. And that's pretty much it, except for one more thing. All right? That's what it's going to be. All right? So give me a call back. Okay. Let me get this piano off your heads. All right? God bless. And good night. And just kidding. No one's going to die. No one's going to die. I'm playing around. All right? No problem. Just kidding. No problem.
Nothing
There you go.
illegal here.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna kill a guy Looney Tunes
He
style.
just kept going in circles to like get himself in trouble. I love how he said I can deadlift 550.
Easy.
Like the piano's 550.
I mean, that was definitely a riff. Like you could hear him like almost cracking.
No problems.
Cracking.
It's Donnie No Problems.
Donnie
What you
No
talking
Problem.
about?
cracking voice. Yeah.
That's what you should have done when that guy charged you $70. Is you should have been like, I can deadlift 550 easy. I'm gonna come back with a piano and kill you Looney Tunes style.
Can you, senor? 550. What the fuck?
Do you want to know what that is in pesos, senor?
Easy.
I'm Jordan All Problems.
They call me Donnie No Problems.
I'm Jordan All Problems.
That guy is definitely a member at Club Paisano.
Yes.
You don't want no problems, especially with Mario.
Jordan, what's on your mind today? Anything not sports related?
I really don't have a lot of interesting things to share about my life right
that's
now. Like,
That's fine.
to be fair, like I work from home. I'm making sales, selling software. I love the Timbers. I hate it when people stalk my Facebook and then try to call me out on their podcast when they call me when I'm drunk on a weekday night.
At McDonald's drive-thru.
At the McDonald's drive-thru that's closed, both lanes, and they're getting mad at me for trolling people, Peter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, really get me worked up sometimes. Makes me question the decisions I make.
Yeah, I
in
can
life.
only imagine how much more upsetting that was that you find out you're getting trolled and then you can't get McDonald's because it's closed. Like, fuck.
Jumping right into sports, how do we want to do this? So we want to talk NBA, NFL.
Start us off, baby.
Why don't we go ahead and, because I feel like our NBA discussion is going to be a little bit longer. I am very curious to hear you guys' thoughts on the Jalen Hurts contract extension. $255 million, $179 million guaranteed over the course of 5 years. It has a annual value of about $51 million. He now becomes the richest NFL player by year. I mean, technically the Patrick Mahomes deal is bigger, but average annual salary.
The highest annually paid player.
Well fucking deserved.
Tell me about it. So, okay, I want to hear your thoughts about kind of this deal specifically, why you thought it should have been done, and then how you think that it may shake out with Lamar Jackson.
Here's a difference between opinions, especially with me and you. You don't think deals like this are worth it because you're looking ahead and thinking about the what ifs. What if he gets hurt? What if he doesn't play well after this? What if that? What if this? Who are the four below him of the highest paid quarterbacks? Kyler Murray, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, and whoever the fuck the other one
Mahomes?
I don't even think
Mahomes is right. Mahomes is at 40.
Yeah, I don't think Mahomes is in that top 5. But look at the 5. Okay? Aaron Rodgers is almost like a cancer to a fucking team right now. Kyler Murray has not done anything for Arizona. Russell Wilson, you saw him last year. Jalen Hurts is getting paid the value of what he's done for Philly so far. I'm not thinking about what could happen if he gets injured next season or they bust next season. Right now, he deserves that money because of what he's done.
Deshaun Watson, the other one, which we should have remembered.
Yeah. Look at the 4.
He's a winning quarterback, and if anyone's going to be that highly paid in that position, it should be someone who's currently winning. So I agree with it. Do I think I can't really say Lamar Jackson has a better resume because Jalen Hurts, all he does is go out and win with the Eagles. Yeah, maybe it's a system, maybe it's a team around him, but he's also putting up numbers. Like, you got casual football fans that think Jalen Hurts is the best quarterback in the NFL because they have him on their fantasy team, and it's fucking awesome what he's doing. Do I think he's the best quarterback in the NFL? No. Do I think he should be the highest paid? There's guys better than him, but like Miguel said, well deserved. He's winning football games.
Look at what is the most successful play for Philadelphia last season?
I mean,
it's a Jalen Hurts quarterback sneak.
Well, I mean,
it was fucking unstoppable.
The two cheek sneak is kind of what or the butt push or the butt rush or.
I would have.
Is there going to be a rule against that?
I mean, they're trying to. They tried to implement it this year, but it didn't succeed. So it's going to continue on.
I might have some sort of an issue for how much money he got if they had to sacrifice losing some offensive linemen, but they didn't. They're keeping the team somewhat intact. They're not having to give up key players. If anything, they might gain some key players or future key players from the draft.
Right, but the problem is that you have a hard cap in the NFL. So, I mean, your $51 million will count, and that is taken away. We've had this debate, but I'll say it again, is that, when you have a guy on a rookie contract, the way that Jalen Hurts has been, the value that you get out of him is so much greater because you're not having to pay him, right? So he's only done this for 1 year. He's only done this for, just a year ago or 2 years ago, he was behind a guy making $100 million in Carson Wentz. And so, like, he's done this for 1 year. He was injured for part of that. I worry about whether or not, like, again, similar logic from before, is that $51 million will cap strap you, and you may have to look at younger impact players, whether it be running back or wide receiver. You better protect your asset. Like, I mean, if your money goes to anyone else after this, it's got to be either, like, on the defensive or offensive line.
But
and
what's
other than that, like, I mean, you're
but your
hamstringing
your
yourself.
argument though is, what's your alternative? Your alternative is to, right now you're presented with an option to pay him or not pay him.
Correct.
Your alternative is to not pay him and quote unquote plan for the future.
Right.
He's the fucking future.
I'm all about winning now. Win now. If you got something good,
Like
fucking
the
sign
the
that
future
player.
isn't guaranteed. Like right now, he's your guy. He's the future that I'm looking at. Not, we can't pay him this much money. Let's see who we can get and put some scraps together that maybe can take you where Jalen Hurts took you in a season.
So, and I mean,
Do you think he'd get that kind of money anywhere else if the Eagles didn't offer him that, though?
Yes,
I think that's.
I do.
Do you think that he
Yeah.
would have been?
because, I mean, like, it's a similar deal. You're seeing a lot of these types, whether or not, like, he's a little bit higher paid or not. Like, that 170, 180 million is right around what Kyler got. It's right around what Lamar Jackson was rumored to have gotten but hasn't signed, and like the years were a little bit off, but still the same annual value. So I'm going to, like, one of my logic before was like, what you could do, especially with like a really high, a highly touted quarterback class this year, is try and see about trading Jalen Hurts, doing something.
Go get like Trey Lance
and go and get and restart your trajectory, because you made it to you made it to
Was that you or Miguel?
that was me. You made it to the Super Bowl with a quarterback on a rookie deal. And the potential of redoing that, not cap strapping yourself, being able to keep that core of guys while you still had that. You're seeing a ton of teams. Joe Burrow right now. Potentially what could happen with the Chargers and Justin Herbert.
What do you mean what
Patrick
happened with Joe
Mahomes,
Burrow? He was in the playoffs and almost went to a Super Bowl
He
again.
went to a Super Bowl. They were going to win that Super Bowl, like, had it not been for, a Rams comeback there.
I'm saying, but that was last year. And what do you
He
mean?
hasn't
Like,
gotten paid yet.
But he's about to get paid.
He
Since
is
you-
about to get paid.
You know, since he's going to keep him.
Yes, but I mean, that's the kind of the dilemma. You're seeing, like, Patrick Mahomes, like, he's got a great contract for like 10 years, $400 million. That's $40 million a year. That's an incredibly great value that the Chiefs are going to get out of him, because you save yourself, $10, $12 million a year by taking care of this early. Jalen Hurts is really smart to try and take care of this early. Lamar Jackson, you're seeing, he waited. And now he's missed 12 games in the last 2 seasons, and now no one wants to pay him.
But look at the big picture. You're saying it's not worth to pay Jalen Hurts this much and keep this core, to try and save this core as much as possible. We have to stop pretending that the quarterback position isn't the most fucking important position in the league.
It is. It's incredibly important.
So
but,
when
but,
you-
Why
but,
are you saying that he doesn't deserve the money?
But what you're seeing is you're seeing a lot of guys on rookie deals. You see Mr. Irrelevant take a team to the NFC Championship game. If not for like getting hurt, could have taken him to the Super Bowl. Could have beaten that Jalen Hurts team. You've seen the Patrick Mahomes and the Joe Burrows on rookie deals. The Patrick Mahomes one has just started out. But I mean, like, that's why I'm just advocating. You're seeing so much success recently with the rookie scale quarterback on a team that is good.
But
Trey Lance, same thing.
that
he hasn't been
I don't-
good. He
he-
hasn't
but he
survived a
could.
season.
I don't think that's
But he's on a rookie
I don't
deal.
he
think
would have been Mr. Irrelevant.
using San Francisco with Brock Purdy is a good sample size for the point
They
you're
also
making.
all got fucking hurt.
Because you're saying, okay, let's
I've
keep
made beyond that, though.
let's keep this core, and then let's get rid of this guy who's going to get paid way too much. Do you think that core will produce the same way without a Jalen Hurts? Because you're basically saying, oh, we went to the Super Bowl, and let's rebuild after that because he's not worth the money. Look at the drop-off in the top 10 quarterbacks in the league. Top 10. Think of your top 10, and then look at the drop-off between 10 and 11. That's how important quarterback position is. That's why you fucking pay them.
Yeah, and you could miss, and I understand that. And so now let me give myself a counter argument about why this might actually be a good deal. Because again, if you tie a guy up early and you don't get into these salary back and forths or whatever, you're going to see what happens with the Justin Herberts and the Joe Burrows and the next line of quarterback here and there, right? Because now the market has been set again. Justin Herbert might command $55 million. Joe Burrow might command $57 million, right? And so then you're going, okay, this might be a little bit more favorable. So that's why, I understand both sides, but I still think that, if you in a hard look think it's kind of like what a team would do is if this is the player or is it the scheme, and if they think that it's the scheme that can take them, then get rid of Jalen Hurts.
Would you have the same opinion?
How many players can
Would you have the
execute
same
that scheme,
opinion
though?
if Herbert got this money?
Say that?
Would you have the same opinion if Herbert was getting paid this much money? Herbert gets paid that much money.
Herbert was
guess who's gone?
having the success that he was
Austin
having.
Eckler's gone.
Eckler would be gone. Yeah, Eckler's trying to get a trade.
Then how would the Chargers look with Herbert leading them without an Austin Eckler?
How would the Chargers look without an Austin Eckler type?
Well,
Yeah.
Austin Eckler's about to leave.
Yeah, I mean, because Austin Eckler wants too much money. I think that, eventually every quarterback is going to get paid. It's just kind of like a tough position. If you're on the verge of winning a Super Bowl, we saw this we've seen this countless
The Chargers
times
aren't
with
anywhere near that.
No, but the Eagles were, is what I was saying. So the Eagles were, and if they thought, hey, we could restart this whole operation with a rookie skill quarterback, and then this guy can just do enough. I mean, Russell Wilson didn't win the Seahawks a Super Bowl. He was good enough.
Boom did.
Exactly. But he was on a rookie deal. So, again, it's very...
Also, I look at Jalen Hurts as
NFL's
he's a
also
guy.
win now.
He's a guy that can throw, who's accurate, who has a cannon for a fucking arm, but he's also a third running back.
He is.
And
he's susceptible to injury at that point.
Who isn't in the NFL?
Exactly.
I mean,
You play in the most violent league
Yeah.
in the world.
So-
I want to go back to what Miguel mentioned.
You're good.
Okay. I want to go back to what Miguel had mentioned about Herbert. Would you be saying the same thing about Herbert? Let's pretend Herbert's in the situation that Hurts is in, and he goes and gets that money. Let's say Herbert's the quarterback of the Eagles and has that same success. Would you have a problem if Herbert was getting it? Because
I think that's what Miguel was alluding to, where it's I think that I am still of the I have an issue with quarterbacks getting paid these days. I do. I mean, I didn't like how Aaron Rodgers got paid. I guess I'm kind of just have an issue with where quarterback getting paid is going. And it was...
Is it in contradiction to, what other guys make around them? Is it, are you saying there should be other positions that get paid as much? Or
Well, yeah, I mean, when
there's-
you look at, Eckler's looking for, $10 million a year, $12 million a year, and people are, scoffing at that. It is pretty astronomical that you say that, this guy is taking up 5x what any other of your second best player, or even better than that.
But also, the quarterback's the one that's distributing that.
They
I mean, he's
are.
the focal point.
That's
but when you have a Jalen Hurts type who is running a ton,
That's-
Lamar Jackson
that's
is running
the
a ton.
That's the difference, though, when you look at a market like the NFL and you compare it to the NBA or any other professional sports. You can have an Austin Eckler and you can have a fucking even an Isaiah Pacheco or Raheem Mostert or whatever. How would the Chiefs look without Mahomes? Think about
They
that.
would not be where they are
Kelsey
without
wouldn't
Mahomes.
be a top fucking
No.
receiver in the league. The quarterback position is so important in the league that I think it's deserved when they get the chunk of the.
Look what happened to the Colts with Andrew Luck when the whole franchise went tits up.
Because you have the leader on the field, but you also have a coach on the field, and in the case of a two-way quarterback, you have a fucking running back on the field. They control so much of the game.
They do. I get
wrinkle.
and again, maybe we'll look back at this in 5 years and say that the value at $51 million a year is actually a bargain. You know, like Tom Brady took pay cuts because he had so many other endorsement deals and he knew he was going to get paid elsewhere. So he was like, I'm just going to not take as much money to allow other people to get paid. The Patrick Mahomes deal, while it was $400 million, it was it's spread over 10 years, so $40 million. You look at a Patrick Mahomes on $40 million versus like a Jalen Hurts at 5.
Jalen Hurts also
Take
does
that all
more
day.
for the team and more the offense. I mean, like, Jalen Hurts does more than Tom Brady, in my opinion. Like, he's running the ball. He's
Well, these
putting
days,
his body.
yes,
He's
it is
putting
his
his
time.
body on the line more than Brady ever did. And it's also a different day and age, so
Well, let's
you
do
get paid more. So, like, I'm just saying, for the value that he brings, he's adding another dimension to that entire offense and opening up a playbook. So, Tom Brady, for him to maintain success, yes, he got his endorsement deals, but he also needed to create space for other players to get signed, right? And to have high-class talent around him, like bringing in a Randy Moss or bringing in like this all-pro defense that he's always had.
Sure.
So
let's do a
like-
cross-sport reference for your point, and I want to throw this your way.
Mm-hmm.
If a Jalen Hurts getting paid $50 million a year, you don't think it's deserved? Do you think that someone like Steph Curry deserves the money that he's getting? Because let's look at the two sports. Philly would not be Philly going to the Super Bowl last year without Jalen Hurts, and you can argue it's both are team sports. You can't do one without the other. Right?
Sure.
You're not going to win by yourself, but that's even more so, I think, in basketball, where you pay all this money to a Steph. Steph can't do it without Clay or Draymond or Andrew Wiggins. The importance of the star player in the league, in the NBA, versus a star player in the NFL with a quarterback is completely different.
However, I've always been high on the way that the Milwaukee Bucks have done things. The way that they didn't have guys on super maxes, or it took a while to get there, and you had all these different role players making, versus like an AD and a LeBron who were aging and taking up so much of your money. And so that was kind of my issue. You get like Andrew Wiggins on a good deal for the NBA. You get Jordan Poole, who's a young buck. And then you kind of like you're paying Draymond, but you're not paying him as much as he could. So, I mean, that's why I think I'm pretty consistent on that, where I would rather have 3 or 5 guys getting paid what 2 do versus like saying, oh, I have these absolute superstars in Anthony Davis and LeBron James. Give me the 5 guys for the same amount of money as the 2.
I think you've always given Milwaukee Bucks the credit, but I don't think they deserve the credit. I think Giannis deserves the credit. Because Giannis,
but without Chris Middleton, the Bucks aren't winning championships.
right, but all I'm saying is Milwaukee's not making this decision. Giannis isn't demanding this the same way that Anthony Davis or LeBron would. That's why it opens up roster spots and how they could pay people. And if Milwaukee Bucks is the model citizen that we're looking at here, yes, they got 1 ring, which is really, it's all you need. That's all people will remember. But
the Spurs are the model.
they did get beat by an 8 seed last night. So.
the
Granted, Giannis went down, but
Yeah.
The Spurs are the model, because the Bucks, though, you're talking about having steadiness across the entire team. But the thing is, if Giannis goes down on that team like we saw last night, it falls apart for the Bucks. They're not even a playoff team without Giannis. So I think that kind of, I don't know, that kind of pokes a hole in the argument that you just had right there.
it does a little bit. Because, you have the Drew Holidays and all that, but how far is Milwaukee going to go without Giannis? It's still
Yeah, they
it's
won't
still
win a
this is also
up
the
to the
NBA that we're
stars.
talking about a team, a league that's a complete star league. Like, you have to have the guy, right?
Yeah, and I think I would ultimately, I just think that
As long as his name's not Dame Lillard.
I think that the NFL does definitely need to distribute the wealth a little bit differently. But because like the quarterback position is just going out of control. And then with Lamar, there's rumors about like going around that it was the same deal. And that's like, now you've seen multiple deals happen. The Kyler deal, now the Jalen Hurts deal, that are all like, get your 170, 180. It could get up to, $250 million. No, this Deshaun Watson thing was an anomaly. It just does not make any sense for $230 million to be guaranteed to a guy like Lamar Jackson, who has missed a third of the season the last 2 years.
These were also, I mean, and Lamar hasn't secured that deal because the Ravens are not a fucking trash organization the same way that the Cardinals and the Browns are a trash organization and would put that kind of money into a guy like that. Kyler hadn't proven shit, and the Cardinals paid him all this money.
I would beg, I would think that Jalen has done it for a year, but let's see next year.
At least he's gone to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
At least he's been a part of winning football. Kyler's never been a
we
part
can
of
come
winning
to an
football.
understanding here. If your point is to spread the wealth, I can agree with you. Spread the wealth.
Yeah.
But if you're using Jalen Hurts as a specific example, then I would tell you to stop digging at him, because the other guys he's grouped with has not even
They
not
don't even
even
deserve to be
proven
spoken in the same breath
what
as
he's
him.
done.
Yeah.
Quarterbacks do definitely last longer in the league than, say, a running back. But it is kind of crazy to think that a guy in Austin Eckler who's like, trade me if you can't pay me more than $10 million. You go, wow, like the value of an Austin Eckler type. You never know how long these guys are going to last.
He's also on the
Who do
he's
you-
over the hill.
if
Austin
you're-
Eckler's on the other side of his career.
If you're
right
the
now.
Chargers organization and you were presented with an ultimatum, you get to keep one. Do you keep Herbert? Do you keep Eckler?
I think you keep Herbert.
Okay, so you understand how important the quarterback position
I
is.
do. At $51 million, though, on a hard cap, no.
What if that's the money we're talking about? You still keep Herbert over Eckler?
At 51, I would
I mean,
say
these guys are about to get paid.
Should they
Herbert's
just
about
raise
to
the
get paid.
salary
Burrow's
cap?
about
Is
to
that
get
what you
paid.
want? You want the salary cap raised? Like,
I mean,
I think the players should get more money. Like, in the
Yeah,
NFL.
and that was what I was just going to look up, was like, where is the salary cap going to go? Which was kind of back to my original point on, like, will 51 in 5 years look great?
And
In
will it
5
keep going
years,
to the quarterback? Though?
right? It
also keep
will.
going to
It
the
will.
quarterback?
And
Talk about the guys who need to get paid. It's a fucking O-line.
linemen.
O-line needs
God
to get
bless
paid
you,
way
linemen.
more.
yeah. Moving on to the NBA, Miguel and I now, after the LA Lakers secured the play-in victory, which that was such a crazy game. I don't want to like dwell too much on it because of kind of
It
how
was the
long
most
ago.
frustrating game
It was
I've
also
ever watched.
terrible. It was not fun to watch.
Such
I
a
was at
bad
the
game.
bar. I was at Pros, just getting. I was getting drunk, and I was like, I'm intrigued because it's a close game, but this is god awful.
I didn't gamble on that game, and I'm fucking glad I didn't. That was the most frustrating game to watch. To have both teams and both stars of both teams try to give the game away every fucking 5 minutes. Cross-court passes. The Lakers had 4 inbound plays that got stolen in the last 5 minutes. I'm like, just relax and take a breather for a second. Jesus
You got
Christ.
LeBron. You got LeBron.
He's the one that was fucking up most of the
Yeah.
time.
And I mean, gosh, to see Dennis Schroeder make that corner three when LeBron should have just gone up with it, but whatever.
Schroeder, he should get paid.
It was kind of funny. It was kind of funny to see Schroeder hit that when it was like, man, you could have been making $100 million right now.
And he's back at that same
and now
team.
he's back at that
He's
same
back
team
at the
making a
same team.
veterans minimum.
It
Oh my
is
God.
the one silver
man.
lining from that game
Irony.
outside of the Lakers winning is, you think about how egotistical some of these guys are, like the AD and the LeBron, but during that post-game interview when Schroeder and LeBron were talking to someone, AD just comes up and he's like, I apologize.
I want to apologize.
He's like, why would you bump into Mike Conley with shooting a 3 behind the backboard that he wasn't going to
LeBron
make,
calls
and you
it
just
a
foul
brain
him?
fart.
Jesus Christ, what a shitty game.
Yeah. But yeah, so Miguel and I now have a bet because I text him after that and I was like, I think all I said was like, I'll take Memphis. And so,
Peter rarely initiates bets.
Yeah, that
And he's
was-
like, the Lakers look like shit. I'll take Memphis for the series.
bad
And I'm
game,
like,
yeah.
okay.
Every bet Miguel initiates with me, he fucking wins. It's so goddamn annoying.
It's because it's against the Blazers.
I always bet with my
That's
heart on the
stupid of
Blazers.
you.
So Miguel and I have that bet. The Lakers go up 1-0 in a game that was pretty close, but You had Ja Morant get injured. And we're seeing a lot of injuries.
Wait, so you have the Grizzlies.
I have the Grizzlies.
For the series
Yeah,
for
for the
$50.
series.
Oh, that's
So.
bold. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not really that bold. I mean, they're like the number 1 seed, aren't they?
They're the 2 seed, but I
okay.
mean, like when you think about like young versus old and all that. I mean, you saw AD get injured. You
Strip
saw Ja
club
Morant get injured.
Gun flashers versus seasoned vets. You know,
Yeah, against the cripples.
former Oregon Duck shit talkers.
Ja Morant's trigger fingers hurt. So.
His
I know.
Trigger fingers turned to Twitter fingers.
So yeah, so who else did we see go down? We've seen a number of injuries.
Tyler Hero
Tyler Hero
his
breaks his
index
hand.
and ring finger.
And still knocked it down.
I am curious your guys' thoughts on if
I'm sorry.
Giannis is hurt.
Giannis's fall was bad.
Yeah, it was a bad looking fall.
Did you hear that? Did you hear the thump?
I didn't.
He was going for a layup and he landed on his way down straight back, and he landed on his tailbone and bounced.
Yeah.
And you heard it from, I don't know who was mic'd up that was near him, but it was like you heard his tailbone hit the fucking hardwood.
Mm-hmm.
Like that.
And he goes to the locker room, comes back
started hitting
out,
stuff.
tries to play 2 more minutes, and then he had to go back out. Like he's in bad shape.
Yeah. Okay, so then
Playoffs, baby.
and that's what I'm kind of wondering is that what does load management mean anything
Dick.
at this point? Well, so is it better that guys load managed or is it worse that guys load managed at this point?
It doesn't fucking matter. Just
doesn't
play.
matter.
If you're healthy, fucking play. Stop being a pussy. You get paid. Go play. You have the best trainers in the fucking world. Best trainers money can buy. Fucking play.
I would love to
Stop
get,
with this.
I would love
Stop
to get
with this
paid
shit.
100% to do 70% of the work. You know, like just to be like, I guarantee you, I will be there 70% of the time, but I want you to pay me 100% of that.
But
and
what-
that's what a guy like Kawhi has mastered.
Here's what I'm curious about. Is it that some players are just
They should get
their
70%
bodies
of
are
their
just made
salary.
of glass? What is the difference between a Kawhi Leonard or an Anthony Davis to like a Miguel Bridges? Bridges has played every game in the league, and it's not like he's a starter.
What about guys like we're talking about like the Bad Boys Pistons era or like the Karl Malone?
Well,
and that. I'm not trying to go back to like
I'm
80s,
using an
90s basketball,
example.
but, like,
I'm
those
using
guys.
an example of today.
Okay.
Because I'm
So-
using an example of today. Bridges has played every game. He's a fucking Iron Man. What's the difference between him and someone who like Zion or Kawhi or
They don't
AD?
have everyone telling them that they're the fucking God's gift to basketball. Maybe I don't know. 'cause-
Could Bridges be just taking better care of his body, like doing the proper stretches, eating the right shit throughout the season, that he's not affected by little injuries here and there? Or is he just not as big of a star where they take more precaution with an Anthony Davis or a Zion? Or
It is crazy that the guys that like you talk about these, like a JJ Redick or someone that has this like very good longevity. You never really remember them getting injured, but then you have guys like AD who are constantly hurt, and you have the like all like problem with the NBA is that all their stars they're hurt at like it. It's
like every
you
time
never-
AD falls, you just get nervous. It's like what's
Exactly.
next?
Yeah.
Like, what now?
And I think that some guys haven't learned how to fall. You know, I do think that like I'm very curious to see how a guy like Tua is going to come back. Tua Tagovailoa is going to come back after taking like jujitsu classes, where he's going to like learn how to like fall. You know, you saw the thing that happened with Anthony Davis last night is that he, you know, it's instinctual, but he planted his elbow or his hand, and then his shoulder took the brunt of it. You know, it's like you got to learn
you
how
just
to
gotta
fall
go,
a
you
little
gotta
bit.
go with it. Let your momentum carry you. Don't try
Yeah.
to stop it.
Or look at Ja. Ja
Right.
tried to dunk from the free throw line over Anthony Davis and then breaks his fucking fingers and wrists. Like, Ja is just a smaller version of Zion. They play the same way.
Ja plays so big.
You know, and I think that also the more that you sit out, the more potential it becomes for it to be something mental. And I think that that's what C.J. McCollum was getting at after the Pelicans lost in the play-in game. He was asked about, I think that he was just kind of summing up the season. I'll play your guys' comments. You'll know who he's talking about on the other side of this.
Yeah, I think throughout my career, I've always been the type of player to to do whatever it takes to help the team. I could have took the easy way out and got surgery and sat and watched, but I'm not that type of person, I'm not that type of player. Even though it affected my performance, some nights I never made excuses. I just go compete and do the best that I can, and I always try to lead by example.
I get what he's saying, though, and I'm not trying to make excuses for clearly he's talking about Zion being available. But their games are completely different. Zion puts himself in harm's way, the same way that Anthony Davis does, the same way that John Morant does. CJ is more of like a facilitator. You know, he kind of plays like Mike Conley. He's out there, he shoots, he dishes, and all that shit. And you have these guys that maybe that is one factor that you could improve on, is try not to be so out of control. You know, you like Ja, you don't have to dunk on everyone.
Yeah, and you certainly don't have to. And you certainly don't want to be dunking all over people or all over the basket during pregame workouts of a game that you're not even playing in the play-in.
Windmill dunks.
Right, like you're doing
Zion.
you're doing windmill dunks, you're doing all of this, and this is after doctors have reportedly cleared you to play, in which you are choosing not to play, and then you go off and you talk in the third person like, "Oh, Zion will play when Zion feels like Zion."
Zion ain't Gonna make a soccer reference. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who also has some of the best quotes of any professional athlete.
Pussy.
Right over my head. But I believe
you should look up Zlatan.
I
It's
believe
awesome.
you.
He once got a LeBron James sent him a jersey as a welcome gift to LA.
Sure.
Zlatan autographed it with his own name and sent it back to the return address.
Oh, wait,
fucking
that's
funny.
hilarious.
Anyways, but I was also gonna bring up the point though that like these guys like a Zion, like he's had the hype his whole life. He's been playing all over AAU. The amount of basketball today's athletes have played their entire youth as well. I think that also contributes to why their bodies maybe breaking down. Also, Zion's just
Fat.
bigger than his body
Fat.
like allows. I don't want to say fat. He's in better shape than any of us. He'd whoop our ass.
He would, but he's heavier than what his body should be for the stuff that he does.
If Zion came in right now and was like, "You're talking shit," I'd say, "I'll suck your dick right now, bro." What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
You just get naked.
Put it right
Yeah.
on him. See what he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd walk out.
But I think that's kind of a bit of a problem when it comes to injury. I also think, and we've talked about this before, I think we brought it up on the show, where AD was crucified for the fact that he said, "Oh, I haven't shot the ball since April," and it was July or something like that when we had that clip. So I think that if you kind of like sustain, you know, your impact, but these guys go through a lot. Apparently, I don't know what I'm talking about. But, you know, Steph Curry gets hurt in game 2. He seems to be playing it off, but
rolled his ankle again, he tweaked his ankle. He's still playing.
I don't know. I think when you've played basketball, regardless of what level, it's easy to say, like your point of you stop playing or you sit out or you don't touch a basketball for a few months. It's almost the same as like,
sorry.
It's almost the same as like you play and then you sit out and then you get cold.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're more prone to pulling something because you get cold and you sat out and you're not as warm, you're not as limber. But I don't know. I think the thing that Zion said that bit him in the ass is like, physically I'm ready, but I don't want to mentally hesitate and not be 100% for the team when I'm out there. Because at that point,
you don't want to play.
At that point, just go and just play.
Then don't sign. Well, and if you're saying that, then don't fucking demand the kind of contract if you're not going to go through with it. Respect to CJ McCollum. Like, you called your teammate out in an indirect way, and it was beautiful.
Yeah, and I think
he has to call the stars out because he needs them.
CJ is one to kind of cast a stone a little bit. He does let himself go a little bit in the offseason, but he always comes back in shape.
But he's not the star.
No.
He doesn't have to, like, he needs the Zions. He needs the Dame because he's a backup. He's a 2 or 3 on the team. He's not the one you're relying on.
Second or third option. He's
like, not the one you're relying on. The spotlights is on the people we're talking about because they're the ones who is the engine, whether that team is going to make the playoffs or not.
Do you think that
How far could the Pelicans have? Sorry,
go. No,
go.
Go
I was
for
going
it.
to say, how far do you think the Pelicans could have gone if CJ, Ingram, Zion, like you have some names there, and
if they were complete, if I were complete
together,
and they were the 8th seed, I'd take them to beat Denver.
Yeah,
absolutely. I think they're exciting as a young team. I think they would be an incredibly dangerous 8th seed.
Minnesota sure looked like trash last night.
Minnesota's just not on the same page. They're not going anywhere.
They're certainly not.
Never mind.
I'm wondering, Trae Young has kind of disappeared a little bit. I kind of am curious to know if you guys think that all of the talk about Trae Young and whether or not he gets traded, because like they get rid of Nate McMillan during the beginning of the year, thinking that, oh, well, now they've chosen the player over the coach. But now the ownership's like, I don't know if we even want the player anymore. I'm curious if you guys think that they'll move off of Trae Young.
What's the talk here? Is like Trae Young has dropped off?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, he obviously had issues internally, and now he's disappeared in the playoffs.
Just not a fan of Oklahoma players in general. Trae Young, Blake Griffin, Kyler Murray. Fuck them all.
Austin Reeves went off for the Lakers last night.
Well, I want to talk about Austin Reeves here in a second, but
I don't think Trae Young has fallen off. I think Trae Young that you're used to before this season is a Trae Young that had to do everything for Atlanta. Now you have someone else sharing the backcourt with him. A guy who's a starter, who is not a backup guy. DeJounte Murray is the guy who gets 6 or 7 assists a game. Now he's sharing the backcourt with him. It's not like, I don't think Trae Young has gone anywhere. It's just like you have a two-headed monster in the backcourt in Atlanta.
I'm not a fan of the two-guard systems where you got two guys that want to control the ball like this, and like what the Blazers
like Dame
tried to,
and
like,
CJ.
like Dame and CJ.
Yeah.
Which is also why I fucking hate the rumors about Jalen Brown coming to. Well, Jalen Brown's not really a point guard, but it's just another two-guard system, And we don't need to get into the Blazer talk. I don't mean to do that. But
just like you don't need two ball hawks.
Yeah,
You need
I think
a guard and a forward.
I think
and
it's
then a big
up
guy
to the
down low.
players because Golden State's made it work.
Yeah, with Clay.
But Clay's a shooter though. He's a spot shooter who can play defense. He's more than I don't want to disrespect Clay. He's more than a 3-and-D guy, but like his primary role is 3-and-D. Steph's handling the ball coming up. Clay isn't a distributor. Clay is give me the ball and I will score like a Devin Booker, right?
I think that there takes a selflessness in a guy like Clay because I disagree with Alex from last week, who was basically saying that he didn't think that Clay could go anywhere and be the guy.
Clay would be the franchise if he was on another team.
Clay has understood what he can do by fitting into a system in a role. And, he just now you're seeing that he's going to go down as one of the best players on one of the best teams.
I think, the perfect example is Alex's take. I think we forget that we're watching the best 300 basketball players in the entire world. That you think because someone is playing within the system that they're not capable of doing anything else. If you put Draymond Green in the shittiest team in the league, Draymond would average 25 points.
Yeah.
He can score.
Yeah, he can.
He can score. He can post up. He can shoot threes. If you put Clay and get rid of the entire Charlotte Hornets and Clay's the guy, Clay would average 30.
Yeah.
He would win the scoring title.
For sure.
Look at Patrick Beverly. You don't think Patrick Beverly can play basketball? I fucking hate him. He's annoying as shit. Patrick Beverly can average 20 on a shitty team.
Yeah. I'm curious if CJ ever would have taken that role in Portland, how different things would have been.
If they traded Dame and got
No. Just like if he would have taken the Clay role as like kind of a, not the guy who commanded so much of the ball. And they were just like, that's why guys didn't come to Portland, because they didn't think they were ever going to get a shot. The only guy who came to Portland who ever got his own shot was Carmelo Anthony, because he was a ball hawk, all right? So, I mean, it was just like he was so alpha on the ball hawk that he was just like, you pass it to me, I'm shooting it at this point.
Here's the difference, though. If you're comparing Clay and CJ, Clay plays defense. and he's very good at it.
Sure. That's
So-
true.
So
yeah.
they've always assigned, like the Golden State Warriors have always assigned Klay to guard the best player on the other team. If CJ even had half of Klay's skill on defense, or not skill, determination on
Yeah.
defense, Portland would be a completely different team. And then you look at the offense, Klay's a better shooter than CJ. You know, CJ might be better at creating his own shots, like mid-range, but Klay's a better shooter than CJ.
Oh yeah,
Like, not even close.
you could argue that it's an argument that CJ is a better shot creator than Klay. It's just that Klay doesn't have to do that.
He
so
doesn't
much
have to
because
do
he
it.
plays off the ball so
Yeah.
well.
You know who's the greatest shot creator is Austin Reeves. Willing
Is
that.
your transition to Austin Reeves?
That's how
I
we
mean,
transition to him.
I saw a thing today that said, like, LeBron has always surrounded himself with badass white dudes. And it was like, and it went
Zydrunas Ilgauskas.
It went from Zydrunas Ilgauskas back in like 2005 to Kevin Love and I forget who else with the 2016 Cavs, to like Mike Miller in Miami.
I was gonna say Mike Miller, Birdman.
Yeah, and then the bubble
Birdman
championship
too,
with
yeah.
Alex Caruso.
Yes.
And then now he has Austin Reeves, and then you have a Japanese guy in Rui who dropped 29 last night.
Crazy.
They have good pieces around them.
Their deadline deals were, I don't necessarily like, they were not the sexiest, but that's kind of exactly what they needed. And
They didn't go for the stars. They went for pieces.
yeah, and I mean, like, you saw them post All-Star game, and this is what you get, is that if everyone's keying on a guy like LeBron or AD, then of course, like, I mean, if you can get a guy or two who can do that, the Blazers had that back in the day a little bit, like when like Nick Stauskas would just, like Sauce Castillo would just go off for like 30 points or whatever randomly. And I do think that, like, you're a dangerous team when you can just have, like, a few random guys who may be able to do that. The Spurs had those types of guys all the time, too. It would just, like, be crazy.
Go Spurs!
Yeah.
Well, you always remember, like, again, and I will always be on the side of you need stars to win the whole thing.
Sure.
And you always remember the big three in the Spurs with Tony Parker and Ginobili and Duncan. But what made that Spurs team, the Spurs dynasty run, were the Bruce Bowens and the Sean Elliott,
Patty Millses.
the Patty Mills, the Kawhi when before Kawhi was
Sure,
big.
before
You know what I
Kawhi
mean?
was
Like these
Kawhi,
were the
yeah.
guys that ran the fucking team.
Didn't Robert Horry also hit a big shot for the Spurs?
Steve Kerr was with the
Yeah.
fucking Spurs and won a championship. It's like, it's
So,
important.
It is interesting to see what the Lakers will do. I still think that, well, now with Ja hurt, who knows? But I will keep up that $50 bet. And then I guess kind of the final series I'm kind of curious about is Clippers Suns. I was a little bit, I don't know about surprised, but like I was kind of thinking that the Suns would put it together at home with all their stars and everything, all the hype surrounding the Clippers. But then you got Westbrook. Like, I mean, how does that
If
happen?
the Suns don't make it to the finals this year, this franchise is cursed. I'm sorry. You brought in KD, you have Chris Paul, you have Booker, you have Ayton. If you don't make the finals, if you don't win, what the fuck is
I just
wrong
don't
with
think
that franchise?
Booker's not. He's not that guy.
Then they should fucking
He's
trade
not-
him.
But he was incredible on defense, yes, on Sunday.
He's not the guy who he thinks he is. Like,
Yeah,
I think
he's too pretty. He's a pretty boy.
he can score. I'll give him that, but he hesitates. And technically, Westbrook dominated him last night.
Westbrook's a dog.
He's like Westbrook's intensity just got to Booker, and I think the only untouchable players in Phoenix are Kevin Durant and Chris Paul. Because they've been around long enough, and mentally they can battle. I don't think Booker or Ayton are there.
Those guys can also single-handedly get you to the Western Conference Finals or get you into the playoffs. Whereas Booker,
well, I mean,
you're not
he proved
building.
he
You're not
couldn't,
building
but
around Booker.
I'm curious if Monty Williams will have the balls to sit Ayton again, the way that he did last playoffs. That then led to all the angst with Ayton, and then the Suns matching the contract, and Ayton didn't even want to be there. Blah blah blah.
I don't. I get the Suns Clippers with the star power, why it's interesting. The most interesting series to me are Milwaukee, Miami. You have a Miami team who barely squeaked in through a play-in.
Then they beat them.
And they beat them, but now Giannis is out. And, who knows how that game would have ended differently if Giannis didn't get hurt. But now Giannis is out. You can't necessarily say Miami's got him now because Hero is an important piece to Miami, and he's out. However, Kevin Hart has played a major role with Miami in the last 10 games. Kevin Hart.
Yeah, I was like,
Kevin Love.
Kevin Love
is averaging taking like 4 or 5 charges a game. To now there's a Twitter trend happening where like, should they get rid of the charge? It's like offensive foul is just a bailout for the defense. It's not a thing. It's not a thing. It's just a bailout for the defense.
Oh, shut the fuck up, Twitter.
He's doing so well with that one fucking foul that now people are talking about getting rid of it.
Oh, yeah, it's an unfair advantage to the defense in the NBA when scoring's at an all-time high. Get the fuck out of here.
That would be a fucking that would be interesting, though, if Miami pulls this off and beats Milwaukee, the number 1 team in the entire league.
Giannis received MRI on Monday on his injured back. It came back clean, and they are hopeful that he could come back for Game 2. But then, I mean, even if he comes back, then you're risking like things cramping up or things not going so well. But
did you see the video of Russ getting into it with? I'm sorry to ping pong around, but
no, that's fine.
Russ getting into it with.
I saw the video. I didn't hear it.
Oh my God! How many times is this guy gonna? Well, I don't want to blame. I don't want to blame. I don't want to blame him because
fans are fucking idiots
and.
Well, I was
America
very curious how this even came to be because I've been in this arena a lot.
Yeah, what's this lounge?
He took a shortcut apparently.
Yeah,
to get.
This is not unless they've redone it since COVID. So I haven't been there since since the return of COVID. There's no
a child
reason
eating pizza here.
Yeah, there's no reason why Russell Westbrook would be in this area. The guest locker room, there's like you come out of the guest locker room. Actually, yeah, the only time that you're really
They're trying to make it like WWE. It's the only Vince McMahon's taking over.
Only time you're around fans is when you're coming through the tunnel. The home locker room is where the people are, where there's like a bar, where something like this would be. So here is what the exchange between the fan and Russell Westbrook.
Watch him out. Take it like a man. Watch him out. Watch him out. Straight like that. Watch him out. Talk about it. Be about it. Woo!
Don't talk about it. Be about it.
Don't talk about it.
Walking away.
Yeah.
That little pudgy guy is straight up trying to challenge him.
Yeah. What's really funny is watch your mouth. Watch your mouth, motherfucker. And then he goes, all right, be about it, Westbrick. Like, as he's walking away, I imagine that Westbrook, he has gotten people kicked out before because of the Westbrick thing.
Because of Westbrick?
When he was with the Lakers, he was getting people kicked out for the Westbrick comment. So it's just like he uses that as the fodder. He was like, talk about it, be about it, Westbrick, as he tells him to watch his mouth. Because he knew, like, what are you going to do in this situation? But the league,
how many altercations does Westbrook get in, though? It gets to a point where I'm like, is it just because he's so hated and such a name and so is he this easy to antagonize? Like, because he responds. Because he responds. Like, just
don't
be a professional.
Yeah.
Like, just go about your business and know that you're getting that dude's money in your pocket. Like, fuck him.
I mean, a lot of these guys are just like scoreboard when it comes to bank account stuff. But.
There was also a video, another pro athlete, dude on the Angels. He was the same dude that punched that Blue Jays guy when he was on the Rangers.
Oh, sure.
He's like a second baseman, but he grabbed an Oakland A's fan and pulls him down. He
Rendon,
said, Rendon, yes, Rendon. He's like, "What'd you call me? You call me a bitch? Yeah, you called me a bitch." And then he tried to fucking sock the dude.
He got suspended for that. Do you think that Westbrook should be suspended for the continual things like this, or like will players always get
if
let
he,
it go?
If he actually got in a physical altercation, then yes, because you shouldn't let yourself get to that. But this, I think it's fun. It's giving people stuff to talk. Here we are talking about it. It's entertaining, but it's like, it's just, why are you always in this situation? That's what I don't understand.
I would advise that like players don't give them what they want.
They want a reaction.
They're pushing your button because they want a reaction, so don't give them that. But at the same time, I can't put it all on one side. I can't put it all on the fans, and I can't put it all on the players, because there's some fans that cross the line.
Sure.
Yes.
So I get it.
They're the 1% that you see on social media.
But that's,
majority are fine.
But that's the point.
They're the ones that I.
This isn't
on.
new. I mean, this has been happening in the league for decades.
Sure.
We just get to see it again because
right,
it's posted.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like fans have been in fights, like full-on fights, and yeah, like they were probably a little bit lighter on that back in the day, but it's just we get to see it again. We get to see it over and over. Now people get to react to it.
And people are a little bit more emboldened because the camera's around as well, I think, too. I mean, it happened before, but I think that they're looking for that potential clout.
I don't know if this is a conversation we had here, but this is no different than like bullying in school. You know, when you get bullied in school, when you leave school, it's done. But now that's a bigger issue because school doesn't end anymore because of social media.
Yeah.
In the NBA, whatever altercation you had with the fans usually ends after the game's over. But now you get to rehash it on Twitter.
Yeah.
Now you get to see people responding to it. And it doesn't end.
And a lot of bullying is happening on the social media away from school, but then everyone goes to school and it's kind of like, you know, the damage has already been done.
Yeah.
And then the school goes, well, it didn't happen during school time, so I can't do anything about it. And then you're kind of worried
I think
about
if
that.
you're a fan and you dislike a player and they know and you know that they're going to react, you're going to keep doing it. But do I also think there's some fans that deserve to get rocked in their fucking mouth? Absolutely. You know, there's some things you shouldn't say. Like you shouldn't be wishing ill on like a player's kid or stuff like that. Like you don't want to get too personal. Keep it
You
not
you can razz them about missing shots, about their performance on the court.
court.
You can razz them about that stuff.
Don't talk about their mom. Don't talk about their children.
Yeah, like
that
DeMar
shit.
DeRozan's daughter shouldn't have needed security to get out
Having
of the arena.
death threats for fucking
screaming like a
Come
9-year-old
on,
girl
man.
does. I mean, you just can't do that. And people will be drunk regardless, and you know, be in bad behavior, which leads me
look
to
at me.
Yeah, leads me to my next point, which is what's happening right now with beer sales in the MLB. I'm very curious about your guys' thoughts because now games have gotten shorter, but now they're going, well, in order to recoup some of that money, we're actually going to have beer sales through the 8th inning.
But they're not selling as many beers. So
I think that it's so counterintuitive because if the idea was to stop selling beers at the 7th inning to allow people to sober up to then leave on a game that was longer to then like it totally gets rid of that whole idea of thinking that you cared about fans' health before. They're just retroactively changing it.
It's all about money, baby.
It was a moral,
All
like
about the money.
it's smoke and mirrors, man.
Well, yeah.
It's smoke and mirrors. And anyone that advocates for beer sales to be cut off shorter, fuck you. Like earlier, fuck you. Like,
I mean,
I want to. If I want to order a beer, I paid my fucking ticket. I'm gonna go get my goddamn beer. Fuck you.
So you could dump it on the mascot?
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe I'll probably be kicked out by then.
You
but.
seem like you would like. How much money? Because I already know. I was going to say you seem like a guy who would streak on a
I seem
sporting
like a guy that would
event.
streak? I wouldn't
Yes, you
streak.
absolutely seem like a guy who would streak. I'm just wondering how much.
How much?
On a baseball game?
Yeah, or like a baseball game, a soccer game. So one of the like a football game. Oh no, not a football
I think
game,
it would be
'cause I
dumb
don't
to do
want
it on
you-
a football game
Yeah,
because a
don't-
player would tackle
They will
you.
tackle you. Yeah.
I don't really
So
want my
how
dick out in.
much?
I mean,
Not okay. The streaker is
it
like a
used to
loose
be
term.
It used to be a thing.
running
but
on the field. How much would you run on the field? And
I
then,
wouldn't want to do it for my own team because I'd still want to go to games. But if I got like, what would be my price?
Yeah, so so if we go to Denver, like we're talking about going to Denver in the
A
fall.
Rockies game or
a Broncos game or a.
I don't want to do it at a football game. We just
No,
established.
here's a good example for
that,
Jordan. You're in Salt Lake City. You don't give a shit about this soccer match. It's Real Salt Lake versus New York Red Bulls. You don't give a shit who wins.
You're not going to jail. They're just going to trespass you, and you can just never go back to that
Someone
stadium
offers you money to just run. You don't have to streak. What's your price? $5K.
10K. I was
10?
gonna say 10K.
Guy hands you.
I want it to be something worth it, like where it's like, oh, like
5K
you can-
plus Timbers season tickets
for the next
year.
decade.
No, just for the next year.
Oh, come on.
That's
Two-
equivalent at least
2
to 10K
years.
at that point.
2 years Timber season tickets, but the best seats.
2 years.
Free hot dogs and
no,
all that shit.
No money. 2 years Timbers tickets.
Like, yeah.
See, I knew he was a streaker.
Well, also
I knew he was a streaker.
Also,
I didn't even have to
you know
ask
the
that
difference
question.
between like the good seats for the Timbers and the like not.
I mean, I
good
like
seats.
sitting in the Army though. What's hard about it is I actually like being in the Army.
We've established that you're just a streaker, okay?
Okay. I'd say 10K, something equivalent to 10K.
How much
I'd
does
do
Jesse
it.
pay for his seats? Because those are
I have no
fucking
idea.
expensive.
No, they're not. They're not 10K. No, they're not.
But 4 seats where he's at, with like the free hot dogs and all that shit, those are expensive.
Speaking of cheap hot dogs or free hot dogs, have you guys already talked about the Phillies dollar dog night that turned into a food fight?
We did not. No.
Do you know what I'm talking
they were
about?
throwing dogs.
Yeah. I didn't send that to Miguel because I didn't want him
He
to
would
get
be
mad
ashamed
at
of-
all of the food waste.
Also, apparently that wasn't like
Miguel just
having
have an
that
open
wasn't
mouth.
like the fans having a food fight. Apparently, people were throwing it, like the people that were selling the dogs were throwing it to fans as they were buying.
It seemed
Well,
like it was
maybe
a food fight.
Perpetuated by that.
Or maybe someone
it mi-
misunderstood.
Yeah,
someone
yeah.
misunderstood what was going
Some
on.
guy, some guy that unbeknownst
Either way, it's
to
a
him,
fucking waste because I know some dogs were wasted.
It's like, oh, hey, look, that person's throwing a hot dog. This is an injustice. And then you just get in on it.
I just love how fired up people get over it. Like, look, all that food waste, all that stuff that could have fed homeless people. It's like, yeah, but people drunk at a baseball game, dollar hot dogs.
Dollar
in
hot
today's
dogs.
economy.
It
Whatever.
makes- it
In
does make
today's
it-
economy,
It does make it
Give
impossible.
me 5, I'll take 1, I'll throw 4. Like, fuck it.
Sure. It does make it impossible to do the 999 challenge. Now, I mean, like the games are a half hour shorter. It's impossible. And I've also seen people who
Love the pitch clock.
do like
Love
the VIP, like, you know, they get into the nicer clubs or nicer seats at like Yankee games or at Dodger games or whatever. Now, all of a sudden, they're paying just like thousands upon thousands of dollars for their ticket to be 35 minutes less of an experience, which I think is interesting. And they're probably charging the same amount of money.
A better experience because it's longer, or I like it. I think it makes the game progress better. I think it adds more drama to it. I think it adds another wrinkle to it that makes it way more fun. I'm tuning into more baseball now. Pitch clock, I'm all about it. I think it's awesome. I have people that argue it's like it's not pure for baseball. It's not the way that it's not how the game was designed, and it's like at the end of the day, you got to keep people interested in it. And baseball's not interesting when you have guys fucking taking 45
or throw into
50s.
first base 10 different times.
Yeah,
and
what's
just wasting.
What's the problem here? Are players saying that it's not safe for injuries?
No, it's purists are saying it's just it's people basically saying I don't like this change. I don't like this change. I don't like that these people have rights.
They don't like it for the pure fact that it's a change. But I mean, like baseball did it just to like speed up the game. They're trying to
get
know
viewership.
Yeah, they know that they are losing people because of how slow their game is.
I don't know. Like, I don't have a baseball team, but out of all the professional sporting events I've been to, a MLB game is the only game I've fallen asleep at. And I was on camera at the Diamondbacks game in shitty fucking seats, and I just dozed off.
Nice. And they got you.
I had someone.
Yeah,
They
because
got
it's
you
like,
on camera.
dude, how many people actually tune in?
Yeah.
All nine innings for 3 hours.
I had someone argue with me about the pitch clock and how terrible it is because they like the fact that they could start a baseball game, fall asleep in the 3rd inning, wake up in the 7th or the 8th and still be in tune with what's going on. And I'm like,
now you can buy another beer or two.
I'm like, why? Well, that's not what you're not watching baseball. You're just falling asleep on a fucking Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, I like going when we as a friend group will go to a game and it's like 3-4 hours long.
But that's what it's about. It's about drinking beers and like eating and socializing.
I mean, as
it's never about the game.
Never about watching the game.
Unless you have a dog in the fight.
That's why
like,
there's 162 of them.
Yeah, I know exactly.
But if you have if you're a fucking Yankees fan or if you're a Mariners fan and it's important to you, I get it. But most of us, at least in my circle, I don't know anyone who has like a baseball team.
Yeah, I mean, like if you're like gaining, if you watch every day, and that's 35 minutes less. I mean, you're talking about like literal like 40
Lifetimes.
hours, 40 hours worth every season or something.
No, but it's those people that are watching it like that are saying this is
the
good,
olds.
and it's like
It's the olds.
It's
Yeah.
the fucking olds. Grow up. It's 2023.
Grow up, Peter Pan.
Grow up.
I do like that they got rid of the shift, but the bigger bags are kind of funny too. The bags are a lot bigger.
What bags?
The first, second, third base bags.
Potato sacks.
They're bigger now.
I don't watch baseball.
Yeah,
Can't wait to go to a Pickles game with you boys this summer. It'll be
We've
good.
got, you know what? We should go to a Pickles game or a Hops game or something. Great.
I'm over this seasonal depression of this fucking rain and this cold.
It's gonna hail
I'm
all
ready.
week. Yeah,
Dude, this has been
I'm
the
ready.
worst
Atmospheric
fucking
river.
winter and spring I've
Brutal.
ever experienced in the Pacific Northwest.
At least we haven't
I'm
had
over
snow in April yet, but we've
I
gotten
just-
plenty
I'm
of
ready for
hail.
the
It
fucking
did snow in
sun,
some
man.
places recently, actually.
I'm
Crazy.
ready for the sun and the lake and all this shit. I'm
Yeah.
over this.
Yeah, ready to see some skin.
Ready to blast some beer chest.
Yeah.
Anything else sports related? You guys want to get out of here?
You want to throw some bets? I mean, Jordan's here. Let's take advantage and
Do
get
you
some
want to
money
take
out of
the
him.
Do you want to take the Clippers over the Suns?
Oh, Jordan, that's a good one. That's a good
They're
bet.
up 1-0. I'm just going straight up at this point.
Jordan, that's a good bet. The Suns, I have no faith in them.
I don't want to do that because I have more faith in Kevin Durant than the entire Clippers team. So,
Hmm.
So
Peter,
do
you
want
want
to take the Clippers?
I want the Suns.
No.
I'm not gonna take that. You have anything else?
Let's see.
So right now we just have the Grizzlies Lakers.
One moment, please. What about? Well, I was gonna say, okay, I'll take the Kings,
Okay.
but like not for that much money.
In the
What's the
series
score
or
right
tonight?
now?
I don't know. I have no idea.
The
what
Kings
the
are
score
up
is.
6
Okay, so
God, I put 40
I'll take the
on
Kings.
the fucking Dubs tonight.
I'll take the Kings
for the series.
Ooh.
How much?
Do you want to go? Are you confident? You want to do 50 again?
I mean, I still believe in. You're willing to do 50 because they're up 6 with 10 minutes.
No,
left.
you were the one. I was starting the bet before. I mean, if you just want to do 20, I'll do 20. But I was starting the bet before I knew the score.
You know what? I have faith in the Warriors.
Okay.
I'll do 50 again. 50 for the
Your
series.
hands are
Warriors.
cold. It's cold out here. So,
Jordan,
okay.
you want anything? Don't be a pussy.
At this point, now you guys can do like a Clippers-Suns bet or something. If you think the Suns, maybe he'll take the Clippers from you.
I don't really want any action.
You want Milwaukee? I'll take Miami. That's 1-8. That's 1-8, Jordan.
Jordan's life is about not taking any or getting any action.
You know what the series that's fairly even? New York, Cleveland.
Yeah, New York's up 1.
New York, Cleveland is really even. That's 4-5.
I would take Cleveland over New York.
I'll take New York.
Okay.
How much?
Let's put 20 on it.
Okay. Woo! Gambling.
We're gambling.
Grow up, Peter Pan.
Gambling. Do you want to make some Super Bowl predictions?
Not yet. We're not there yet.
We got to let the draft happen. Curious.
You guys want to bet on who gets taken first?
I think we still have 1 week before we need to do that.
Okay. Jordan, we'll have you for the NFL future bets.
Yeah, you'll come on and you can bring your journal next time.
If you like this podcast more than when Braxton was around, like and subscribe.
Can you imagine how hurtful that would be if our Twitter blows up and it's like, we do like it more
This
with
is the
Jordan.
greatest. Let's see, what is Jordan
Comment-
saying?
Comment Jordan forever.
Braxton's gonna listen to this on the flight home tomorrow, and he's like, "Fuck
While
you."
you're on Facebook, you smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe to my page. Some people stir the pot, and the others let it stir them. Stew on that thought. PETA.
PETA.
Did I say that to you?
Yeah.
Did I say that to you?
Oh, that
Were
was
you
when
drunk?
you were drunk at McDonald's.
drunk too?
Yeah.
Did I really said that?
That's what you sent to me.
That's
yeah.
pretty fucking brilliant.
Oh my gosh.
Look at me! Look at me!
All right. Do you remember the sign off?
You got to do Braxton's part.
Remember who you are and what you stand for.
That's season 1, bro. Jesus.
What's been this?
It's from Friday Night Lights.
You go clear eyes.
Clear eyes.
Full hearts.
Can't lose.
With some gusto next
It
time.
just makes sense.